Hello, everybody. My name is Libby DeLucian, and we are coming to you on the Organize It YouTube channel. And so, what is Organize It? Well, Organize It is the most organized cleaning company in the world. We are super proud of the service we do and offer throughout the United States. So, on today's topic, we want to talk about a very sensitive but controversial topic, and it is hoarding. And it's one of those things that is very difficult to approach. So, today we're going to talk about how to clean a hoarder's house and give you tips on this. So, how do you clean a hoarder's house? Cleaning a hoarder's house is a task that you don't want to take on by yourself. I can guarantee you that. There are different levels of hoarding. And, as humans, we are natural collectors. And so I want to make sure that this is never approached from a place of judgment or criticism. It just sometimes, because of life circumstances or tragic events, things can get out of hand. So it's too complicated, and it may even be hazardous if you try to take this on by yourself. So in this blog or this video, we want to explain to you, we want to teach you how you can learn to do this and give you the proper tools so that you can figure out if this is something you want to approach yourself, whether it is you that's hoarding or collecting the items, or it's a family member or a loved one that you're trying to help. So first thing you need to remember is that you always have to protect yourself when approaching a hoarding situation. And then you want to make sure you have the proper supplies or people to help you. So it's always protect yourself, supplies, and people. So what is hoarding? We'll just give you a little bit of hoarding. So, hoarding is a kind of disorder. It's recently been diagnosed that it is a mental disorder. And you can actually get some help through insurance companies now. So unless you can convince the person that's concerned, you may not be able to go in and touch any of these items. Because it is a mental disorder. It is a mental block that's happening. It's not just we're going to go and clean this stuff and throw it away or organize it or categorize it. It is much more than that. So you need to make sure that you are appropriately equipped to do this. So you want to think about things that you'll see in the house. Like you could see a variety of things in the home. Whether it's collectibles of high value or just collecting things that they think may have value. And that could be as far as trash or garbage or things of no value, but they're value to that person. So you want, these may be considered trash, but to other people, they're considered useful someday. So the cleaning depends on the volume, size, and hazards in the home. So where can you get started? So this is a very, very daunting task. I've done many of these myself, and I am trained. I am certified. And if you're not working someone that's trained or certified or has a background in this, I would really suggest that you dive in and look for someone locally in your area that does have some experience in this. So you'll first need to evaluate the extent of the situation. And then you'll need to think of a strategy of how to tidy up, how to start, and a proper plan. So you want to think of how, tidying up the place and then preparing a plan. People in these situations are unable to recognize which items are useful or not, resulting, in that pile of unwanted items. These items could be hazardous. They could have mold, dust, insects, and other unhealthy environments around them. So the one thing you want to make sure is that you're considering that your cleaning effort might go to waste if this person is not on board. So the person that is hoarding the items has to be on board, or all of this effort will go to waste. It has to be like a coaching experience. You are going to work through this process with them because it is a mindset shift that has to change. It's not just throwing the items away. I mean, I've done houses where we've brought in 40-yard dumpsters, and I think we went through about 8 of them. And there were still tons and tons of items in the house, but it took days and days and a team of people to do one of these projects. So you need to make sure that your efforts don't go to waste and that the person is wanting to cooperate. They want help. That is the actual first step, because otherwise all of your time and effort is going to go to waste. Try to hire someone or try to hire people to help you, because cleaning up a hoarder's home is not an easy task. It's not something you can do alone, and it's not something that will change in like one day. It is a series of events, and you want to make sure that you do the job right the first time. So the first thing I want to caution you is personal protection. Before starting, you need to make sure you're ready to face whatever's inside the home. I've been in homes that have been infested with mold, infested with termites, infested with insects. And then I've been in hoarding homes that were actually pretty clean. And it was just a process of purging and categorizing the items and helping that person work through that mental mindset shift of, where is the value? Is it in the memory in my head, or is it in the actual item? So you want to make sure that you're ready to face whatever's inside the home. It's important to have, to protect yourself and to prepare with proper gear. So we're looking at gloves, we're looking at eyewear, we're looking at, depending on the circumstance, biohazard suits, if you're prepared for that. Flashlights, bug spray, fire extinguishers, first aid kit, because you never know what you're going to run into, step on, or grab. So again, if this sounds like it's too much for you, it probably is. There are professionals that do biohazard cleaning. So us as cleaners and organizers, we don't do biohazard cleaning. We bring in a biohazard company, they take care of that, and then we come in and do the cleaning and organizing and purging, because the biohazard company doesn't do standard cleaning and organizing. So there's a series to this event. You want to make sure you have sufficient cleaning supplies. Having sufficient cleaning supplies is important because you don't want to run out of supplies in the middle of the job. You want to make sure you have the necessary supplies needed for the job. And so here are just a few things that you could think of. And remember, with hoarding, there are 5 stages of hoarding. There is, 1 through 5, and depending on where they're at in that stage of hoarding, will you even want to tackle this? Whether you're a professional cleaning company, your friend, your relative, your loved one, you have to figure out where is your comfort level and what are you experienced in. So again, assess the level and then assess if you're prepared. And then here are some tools that you want to have to make sure that you're ready for the job. Trash bags are the biggest. And I want to even go before that. It's not written in this blog, and it's a dumpster. And if this is in fact a hoarding situation, you will need a dumpster. And you will need a plan of where and when is that dumpster dropped off? How many times are they picking it up? What can we project? And then you'll also need a company or a nonprofit that is close to this person's heart that picks up, because we will be going through items, and some of these items don't go to the trash. They need to be regifted or regiven to someone that can love and appreciate them, or someone that needs them. So finding a nonprofit, a charity that has the service to pick up furniture, to pick up clothing, will be a great help to you in this process, because there is no way you can take this in your car at all. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's not going to happen. It would take too many trips and your time wouldn't be used efficiently. So we want to think about a donation center that offers a pickup, and then dumpsters. From there, we want to look at trash bags. You must use the largest, sturdiest trash bags that you can find. Do not cheapy out. You want the good stuff. The ones from Home Depot or Lowe's that are like $25, $6 for a box, the super thick grade trash bags, the contractor bags. You want boxes because the trash goes in trash bags. The good items will be kept in boxes. Whether you're using plastic boxes or cardboard boxes is irrelevant at this point. We don't ever suggest that you keep cardboard, but for the purging and sorting process, cardboard is okay. And then you want to make sure that you have the proper type of mop, right? What type of floor are we addressing? The proper type of cleaning cloth, sponges, or porous pads. What are we approaching? Brooms and dustpans will be essential. Brooms and dustpans, because you will start to sweep up large items on the floor. Because you're not going to get to every single piece of item or trash on the floor. You're going to start to sweep that up with brooms, and dustpans are essential. Disinfectants and cleaners are big because as we purge, we want to start wiping out cabinets. We want to start wiping out closets, cabinets, under the sinks, to make sure that those areas are done and we can move on and disinfect them. Vacuum cleaners are good, but we want to make sure we're not using expensive or high-grade vacuum cleaners for cleaning a hoarding home. We want to make sure we're using more of a shop vac or commercial grade vacuum, because we will be vacuuming up large debris of items off the floors, off the couch. We want to make sure we're doing this appropriately. And then a shovel. Believe it or not, a shovel will come in very, very handy, especially if you're doing a garage or a lanai or a porch, because it's going to prevent you from having to pick up tiny, tiny little pieces where you can scoop them up and put them into a box and then go through them, or scoop them up and put them into the trash bag. A step ladder is great to have as well, because we have to get to some of these high reach items above cabinets, above refrigerators. It will be essential. And then other little handy tools that you may need to use as well. And this depends different on everybody. I'm a huge Sharpie fan. So I always bring Sharpies, and I always bring stickers. So that way we can write on the stickers and put the stickers on boxes, on cabinets. I do not recommend sticky notes. They will fall off. But we use stickers that we make at Organize It, so we can kind of stick temporarily what's on what we're doing or what stage we're in. So I always bring a Sharpie, stickers, and I always bring a label maker. And that's more towards the end of the line, the label maker. But trash bags are essential. A Sharpie is essential. Water, if you're doing this project, bring water and bring a snack. Bring water and bring a snack. This is a very, very hard job. It is not like a normal clean. It's not like cleaning your own house. You'll get tired. You're going to get hot. You're going to need to refuel, get some protein in you. So make sure you're bringing snacks and water so that you can do this consistently throughout a series of 5 to 6 hours without getting too exhausted. So you want to make sure to always be aware of when you're cleaning, when you're putting stuff into a trash bag, when you're putting stuff into a box, what we're grabbing. You don't know if there's anything sharp, if there's anything broken, if there's a bug, or even if someone was diabetic and had a needle. So you want to make sure you're very conscious of what you're grabbing, how you're grabbing it, and how you're lifting it. So, and then we want to talk about the cleaning and sanitizing. But where do you start? So first we have to clean all that up, right? We swept it. We had a shovel, we had trash bags, we have boxes. And then, after we go through this series of cleaning, then how do we clean? So there are several rooms in a house, but the best way to start really is to start small, because it will be overwhelming. And the way you're going to clean this isn't just a normal clean. It will be deeper than a deep clean. You would probably have to deep clean a bathroom 2 and 3 times. So you want to make sure that you start small, you don't get overwhelmed, and you set this in a series of days. Remember I said you need a plan. The fastest we've ever done a home at Organize It took us 5 days with 6 people doing it. When I mean 5 days, I mean 5 8-hour days with 6 people doing it. So I'm going to do the math for you. The math is 8 hours times 5 days equals 40, but we had 6 people. So it took us 240 hours to do one home. And that was a large home. Actually, it wasn't a large home. It was a small 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom duplex style home, but it was a large job because of the number of items inside of that home. So ensure that you clean that we clean every room. Everything must be removed before we can clean. Everything must be removed before we can clean it. So we have to first purge, then we have to first categorize, and then we have to assess the room, empty the room in its entirety, and then clean it. And then we would think about putting things back. And that means even removing furniture, removing items that are still good, maybe removing items that you didn't even work on or purge during this process. But to clean it right, we have to remove everything from the item or all the items from the room. And, we want to make sure that when we're doing this, if it's probably important to the client, it's important to us too, that you recycle the recycle, you donate the proper items, and you put the trash in the trash. Don't cut quarters and just start throwing stuff in the trash because we don't want to take it to the donation center. It's just showing respect to the item, to the customer, to the person you're working with, whether it's a relative or a family member. So we want to make sure that we do that. And lastly, you want to make sure that once that's done, maybe you do one last proper sanitation. If you're not using a professional company, bring in a company to do one last deep clean, to properly sanitize the home, and to really achieve that goal. And lastly, I keep saying lastly, but this is going to require and need a lot of patience. This is something that took years to accumulate and happen. So we're not going to just reverse it in one day or 1 week. And then you're also going to find that the home's going to need some repairs, maybe some repairs, maybe some painting, maybe the floors need to be redone, buffed, waxed, a deep cleaning of the floors, maybe proper. So you're going to find that once you've done all this and you've cleaned, the home is going to be in need of some repair because it hasn't been taken care of. And so hopefully you've learned kind of how to start this purging process. But the one thing I want to say about this is that this happens to us because of life-changing events. Maybe we were raised by someone that went through the Depression and showed that every single item, no matter if it was a piece of string or a piece of paper, had value because one day we may need it because of scarcity. Or we lost a loved one, or we lost a major loss in our life where it was a loved one or a career, or a loss of our self-identity. So this happens. It's okay. But what I want to encourage you is that if it is you going through this, that you ask for help. There are people out here who do this professionally that cast no judgment, that love to help other people. And if you have family members that want to help you, lean into that a little bit, but know that you still will need a professional. You'll still need that help. So hopefully you found this helpful. We are professionals here at Organize It, and we are equipped to handle a degree of hoarding, but not all levels. And if you are at a stage 4 or 5, we would require that you are also working with a psychologist, and we would encourage this too if you're watching this and trying to help a family member. If they're at a stage 4 or 5, which 5 is the top, we do require that you're working with a psychologist to help coach you through this process. Because again, it's a mental mindset shift that has to take place. There's a block going on, and it's not as simple as just coming in and throwing away items or cleaning. It's much, much more than that. Again, I'm Libby with Organize It. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or subscribe to our newsletter.